You want a war? You're going to get one.
What was that? He had no time for one more play.
He had an opportunity to win that game at the end.
But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us.
I'm upset, but
the brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
Only Cowboys game.
You literally.
The brother screwed us. The brother screwed us. He had one man opportunity for one more play.
Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, kick back here and welcome to another Philly 500 live stream. Let me first start off by saying for those out there, a happy Good Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everybody is good. We got some interesting news happening right now. And then I'm going to throw something your guys' way and explain my thoughts. And then this is your show. Ryan Campbell, what's going on? Richie, Little Griffith, Jay Tyler, thank you guys for being here. Donnie, Chris, thank you. Devin, Arthur, Nigel, thank you for being here, man. Ronnie, Cosmo Kramer, 1258, thank you guys for being here. Philly Maid, Daniel, Big Gucci, my man Maverick is here. You know everything's good if Mav is here with his angry faces. J62, Fat Fist, Fellow Human, Jimbo, anybody that I missed, I apologize, but thank you guys for being here. So we had some interesting news that looks like going on. And I want to talk about this one because we could put another potential candidate we've talked a lot about over the last few years. For good reason. They shopped him and they waited till the last minute to sign him. But Ian Rappaport's reporting the Jaguars' star edge, Travon Walker, has agreed to terms on a massive extension, locking the former number one pick long term. He gets a $110 million contract, $77 million in fully guarantees, and $50 million fully guaranteed at signing. So we could take another potential guy. We can go ahead and say we can forget about that. Now, the thing with Travon Walker is they did shop him. They did wait to sign him to an extension. And I don't think he had the greatest year last year. And he still got a massive extension. But this is what it costs you to go out and get a good edge rusher. And you look at Jalen Phillips, a guy that had, 5 sacks or something last year. He made $30 million. You got Jonathan Bernard. He wants $30 million. I think he's going to be too expensive. In some ways, I think this. I think that it's almost better to go after the star guy at the edge rusher position that's already making the big money. That's already maybe a year or two in his contract. Myles Garrett, if he becomes available, Max Crosby, instead of the Jonathan Grenard or the guys slightly lower who maybe get overpaid because of their name. I almost think that the Eagles are doing it right. You pay those defensive tackles the big money, and then you try to find guys at the edge. I know that's a different way that, teams used to do it. They used to like to have the star edge rusher, but I don't think some of these edge rushers are worth the amount of money they're getting paid. Now, Travon Walker, I think he does, but they're also paying Josh Allen a ton of money. I think the Eagles made a mistake letting Josh Sweat go. Really, if there was one guy after that Super Bowl they should have kept, it was Sweat. He's like $19 million right now. So that's a pretty interesting thing. Let me get to the super chat real quick. Nick, thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate it. Garrett or Crosby, the only options left. And they may be the only options of value. Because, I mean, do you really think like a Jonathan Grenard's worth $30 million? I don't. I definitely don't, 500, can you tell me the last elite pass rusher to win a Super Bowl? The last elite pass rusher? First of all, I never buy into this, right? This position never won a Super Bowl, so it's not worth it. Because we heard that with wide receivers, and that has been proven wrong. But just off the top of my head, elite pass rushers. Well, you've had a Pro Bowl. You've had Pro Bowl pass rushers, right? I can't think of it off the top of my head. But usually that has a lot to do with the same teams playing every year in the Super Bowl. Doesn't it always seem like it's like 3 or 4 teams in the Super Bowl? I don't put a lot into it, but I do think that the running back position a few years ago, I almost think the edge rushing position is getting like where it's overpaid. You're paying too much. And I think you should focus on the interior defensive lineman more, unless you can get a star. See, Trevon Walker and Jonathan Grenard wanting $30 million, and Jalen Phillips getting $30 million. It makes me feel like going after the Max Crosby or the Myles Garrett is the way to go. He got paid. I wanted him, but I do understand they still have to pay other positions. They do. Philly, would you be mad if we got an edge rusher in the first round? No, I won't be mad if I believe it's the person that the Eagles had as the highest rated player. Like, if you look at their draft board, right, and we were able to see the Eagles draft board, and it said, number 1 player, best player on the board right now is this edge rusher, take him. But if it's like this offensive lineman, this guard, this safety, but we're going to take an edge rusher because we're desperate, then I'll be pissed. I'd be happy with Sweat Grenard is still available, Crosby Garrett. I like Grenard, but he ain't worth $30 million, dude. What's up with Gronk working out with DeVonta? It must mean DeVonta Smith is headed to the Patriots. It doesn't mean anything, man. It don't mean anything. Eagles should take Vega. Agreed. I agree with you there. I wouldn't mind Kevin Falk resigning. I like Falk. I don't think he'll be there. I mean, there are a few edge rushers that are available. There are. This is kind of gonna lead me into my to what I am gonna propose to you guys and what I think about this draft. Okay, because I think that this draft here, the 2026 draft, I think the value of this draft is going to come in the mid-rounds. I think the mid-rounds you're going to find some real gems possibly. But I think the top of this draft is kind of weak. I don't think there's a lot of difference between number 20 and number 50 in this draft. And I would say there's probably 4 or 5 guys worth taking in the first round. And if they're not there, I think the Eagles should consider trading out. And the reason I say that is this. Like, if Vega's there, if Sadiq is there, maybe a couple offensive linemen if they're there, maybe 1 or 2 pass rushers. Most of those guys won't be there. Caleb Downs won't be there. But if the value is in the mid-round, and there's only 4 or 5 guys really worth a first-round pick, and they're all gone, I would consider trading out. And what I would trade out for is I would want a 2027 first-round pick, because in 2027, that's supposed to be top-heavy draft. That's supposed to be a lot of game changers in that first round. So having first-round picks in 2027 are very valuable. As we're in this draft, I think the mid-round picks are very valuable. And I would try to get an extra mid-round pick this draft and a first-round pick in 2027. If there's 4 or 5 guys that I'm talking about are off the board. Okay, now, can this happen? Does this happen? This happens a lot more than people realize, right? We don't pay attention to it a lot, but it does happen. And the reason why this happens is because you can get a GM who is picking high in the draft and high in the second round. Their jobs are often on the line. And what they'll do is they'll be willing to trade future picks to get up and get a player that may save their job. Okay, so they don't care what their pick is 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, even the next year. And if you look at the perfect example, is the Rams. In 2025, the NFL draft, the Los Angeles Rams traded their own first-round pick, which was number 26, and a third-round pick. The Eagles have 2, all right, to the Falcons. In return, the Falcons sent, this is what they gave the Rams. The Falcons sent the Rams a 2025 second-round pick, so they moved up in the draft, which they drafted Terrence Ferguson. Then the Falcons gave them a 2025 seventh-round pick. Then the Falcons also gave the Rams the 2026 first-round pick. Okay? So they got a 2026 first-round pick, which is what? Were the Rams picking like 13th? So the Rams actually are picking high in draft, even though they were in the NFC Championship game. This can be repeated. Now, what happened to Atlanta? Atlanta drafted James Pierce. He's gotten in a bunch of trouble. And what else? They fired their GM. GM's gone. Coach is gone. There's always this opportunity. If Vega is gone, Sadiq is gone, maybe, one of those safeties, maybe a pass rusher or two, gone. The move is for the Eagles is to acquire more mid-round picks where the value is in this draft, and then a first-round pick next year. Load up on those first-round picks, baby. That's what I think the Eagles should do. That's what I would like them to do, and I think they need to. They need to do that, in my opinion. AJ's, we're going to get to AJ in a minute, definitely. What up, Bird Gang? How are you? Bring back Sweat and a trade back. Well, yeah, if you could get Josh Sweat back, I would consider it. Marcus, what's going on, my man? How are you? Trade out and take a quarterback in 2027 if Jalen struggles. I'm telling you right now, Jalen ain't struggling. Jalen's about to tear this league up. You didn't miss nothing. Master Eagle, what's going on? Puka's in rehab? Yeah, I heard that. There's a lot going on with that guy off the field, isn't there? If the Patriots trade for Justin Jefferson with the Vikings, where does that leave the Eagles and A.J.? The Vikings are rebuilding. Yeah, but the Vikings have shown no... I mean, I'll ask you, Richie. I haven't heard of any interest the Vikings have in trading Justin Jefferson. I've heard zero when it comes to that. At all. Philly, what did you think about going O-line in the second round? Yeah, you could go O-line in second round. I'm okay with that. Linda, what's up, Linda? Draft the 2 defensive ends first and second round would be a home run like Mitchell and DeGina if they hit. If they hit. We the one thing that scares me about the defensive ends and the and wide receivers in the draft is Howie has not hit on those. He's struggled with those. So I think that's how the Eagles should play it. I think you should load up with first-round picks next year. Go after 4 or 5. Now, the 4 or 5 guys that I'm talking about, like maybe Vega, Sadiq, maybe another offensive lineman, you're going to have to trade up for him. Like Vega is the guy I want. Vega right now is the guy I want at 23. You got to trade up for him. You're going to have to move up. The Eagles do not sit put most of the time anyways. So I think they're going to either trade up or trade back. There is no staying at 23 as far as I'm concerned, Greetings from Tampa, Delphia. What's going on? 500 to Toledo safety at 23, or you're going to riot. Do you think he's going to go at that early, though? I mean, that would be my question. My point is that I think that Howie's got to take advantage of the draft. Don't try to force something. Don't try to just, get something that's not there. Take the best player available and play the draft the way it is. If the draft is mid-round heavy, then get mid-round picks. If it's top heavy, then get top picks. I wouldn't mind having a couple picks just by the possible case. Like, what if you traded, let's say you traded out of the first round and you were able to trade with a team, I don't know, like the Saints or somebody like that for a first next year. Well, guess what? You could very well be picking pretty high. Maybe you get in a lucky position where you become in striking distance of getting a Jeremiah Smith. You never know. 23rd. Oh yeah, I would do multiple first round picks for Garrett. I would. I mean that's a whole nother issue. Myles Garrett. Yeah, I think it's worth more to go get Max Crosby and Myles Garrett and those guys and pay for them than to go try to get Grenard. Travon Walker, do you see the money he's making? Like, the defensive end position, the edge rushing position is overpaid. It just is. They're overpaying because there's not many. It's almost like the running back position years ago. And it's got to come down. So I would start focusing on building that interior defensive line with defensive tackles and then try to get guys in the draft or pay for the star players at that position. Now, there also are reports, and I tried to avoid the AJ stuff as long as I could, but there are reports now that A.J. Brown, the highest bid the Patriots are willing to trade is a second-round pick. That's the highest the Patriots are willing to give. And Patriot fans think that somehow means the Eagles are going to come down. No, it doesn't mean that. What it means is you're not getting him. The Eagles aren't going to trade him. He goes nowhere. So I'm very happy today because I feel like the A.J. Brown thing is working out just the way I would want it. A.J. Brown is not going to go anywhere. He will be an Eagle next year. Carlos, thank you for the super chat. Rumor has it 500 in shakes. We're signing your daddy's home to Trevon and bang. Look at the 4-year deal. I really like this deal. Our front seven will cause havoc. Yeah, I wish we could get Travon Walker. I do. Your daddy's home. Your daddy's home to stay. Yes. Thank you for the super chat. Janice Gunker is on my list, Philly. 500. A good offensive lineman that can be had. Yeah. I mean, look, I think there are legitimately some good players in the mid-rounds. More so than the half. And everything I've read about this draft, they say the difference between pick 20 and 50 isn't that big, okay, as in other, years where they are. I think next year the difference between the 20 guys in the 20 and the guys in 50s could be huge. Could be not. It could be just, next year could just be a friggin' ridiculous draft. It's supposed to be good. How about 500 gets traded to the Cowboys if it means the Eagles get 3 more Lombardis? No way, dude. No way. I just hope Howie does a draft to fill a position and gets premier talent. Well, that's what I worry about, because if you got to trade A.J. Brown and get rid of him, then what are you going to take a receiver in the first round because you feel like you have to? I don't want them to do that. Or what if you don't have an edge rusher going into this draft and there's no hope of getting one? Are we going to take an edge rusher? Are you going to take the 4th, 5th best edge rusher in the draft instead of the best interior offensive lineman? Like, seriously, because what we're talking about, if you take an edge rusher, you're talking about what? How many are going to be off the board? How many edge rushers are off the board by 23? So I think, and I don't mind if the edge rusher is the best player, but I think an edge rusher and a receiver are a trap pick for the Eagles. I do. Not because they don't need it, not because there's not good guys, but that's just 2 positions that historically Howie has missed on. And I think we got to be really careful, like really, really careful. Richard, what's going on? A500, I want to wish you and your family a blessed Easter. All the best. Oh, man. Happy Easter to you and your family as well. God bless you, man. 500, I just want to see us finally get our guy at edge. Leaves holes to fill in the draft. We can get our offensive line, tight end, and safety. Yeah, I think that I think that you need to get one too. I think you need to too, but I don't know who. I was big on Jonathan Bernard. I was like all for it. Now he wants like more than Jalen Phillips. Forget it. No, I'm not paying him. Jeremiah Smith is the only way I'm trading at A.J.Brown. It would be the only way I do it too. Jeremiah Smith is the answer, but it's a very hard spot for the Eagles to get him. We'd have to get extremely lucky. Yeah, we're less than 3 weeks away. 500. You could be undercover and learn a way. I already know all the ways of Jerry Jones. I do. I know it. Michael, what's going on, man? How are you, Michael Meehan? What's up, Philly? What's going on? A.J. Brown is staying. And Hurts, Smith, Hollywood, Dallas, Barkley, and more. This team is stacked. Oh, I forgot. Myles, too. Yes. Super Bowl, here we come. Oh, yeah. We're stacked offensively. And I like what's going to happen with the new coordinator. I love that he's going to do the things that apparently Jalen Hurts doesn't want to do, which is, I think, total bullcrap. And I also think that, with all the guys you have on the outside, the weapons, you still got to fix the offensive line. I'm very excited what Jurgens has said about this is the first time in like a few years he hasn't been in pain. I think Landon Dickerson, hopefully he's doing better well. That offensive line, we can get them playing. Nobody's stopping his team. It is. The edge is a premium position. But I think and I believe that even premium positions at some point can get overpaid too much. I still think it is a premium position. What I'm saying is instead of going and paying the guys who are, a tier or two down, go make the big move for the big pass rusher. That's worth it. Things change in the NFL. You remember it was always left tackle, left tackle, left tackle. Everybody wanted left tackle. They ignored the right tackle. And then eventually what did defenses do? They started putting their best pass rusher over the right tackle side. And then right tackle became much more valuable as well. So, maybe things are turning where, teams are looking to build and get really good interior linemen to help out those edge because there's not many edge rushers, and the ones that they're out there are overpaid. I mean, do you really think, I like Jalen Phillips. Don't get me wrong. I like him. Is he worth $30 million? I mean, the guy's never had double-digit sacks, I'm just trying to say, I think there's a different way to look at it. When Howie's very good at this. When all the other teams go one way, Howie goes the other way. And then what happens is the teams all try to adjust to what Howie's doing, and then Howie does something else. Remember, the running back is the perfect example. They were saying the running back position is dead, basically. It's dead. Running backs can't get paid. Nobody wants to pay them. So what does Howie do? He goes out and he pays Saquon Barkley. And it was a shock when he signed him the first time because everybody was like, wow, they paid a lot of money for a running back. Nobody would have thought that Barkley was able to get the money he wanted and couldn't with the Giants. And then they go out, he has 2,000 yards, and this past year, what do you see? Everybody's trying to get a running back again. So I think things shift, and I think that everybody in the NFL loves to follow each other. They follow the trends. It's the guy who creates the trends and goes against the trends and does what nobody else does. To me, that's where you get opportunity, and that's where you take advantage of things. I think that's what Howie's got to do this time because there are just not that many edge rushers. That's why they see you sign Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and you make sure you have a very good interior. That's just my thinking. DRB says, if the Dolphins got a first for Waddle, why wouldn't we get a first for Brown? That doesn't make sense. It absolutely doesn't make sense. And that trade, in my opinion, really screwed the Patriots. The Patriots want to win a Super Bowl. Okay, do they want to win a Super Bowl or do they want to have their 2027 first round pick? You're not going to win a Super Bowl without Brown. You might not win it with him, but you're definitely not going to win it without him. Rogue, thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. 500. Unfortunately, I think Vega will go too soon. I think we can trade up and get Kenyon Sadiq. The second round, get safety. Then third round, get 2 offensive linemen. After June 1st, get Myles Garrett. No, I like it. I like the plan. I do agree. I think Vega's going to go before 23. The question is how far the Eagles would have to trade up to get Vega. I feel like if Vega's anywhere around 16, 17, 18, I think the Eagles should make a play for him. You know, that's just my opinion. And thank you, Rogue, for the super chat. Marcus Blackman says, "Are the rumors true about Hurts?" Which rumors? There's like new rumors every day. Which specifically? They're probably not true, but it depends which ones we're talking about. CNC for life, thank you for the super chat. If Vega gets past the Ravens, trade up. Yeah, I like that. And thank you for the super chat. Vega is the guy I want. I just think that it's like, man, you're going to plug him in. I think he plays right guard over Steen right away. And I think you don't have to worry about him for the next 10 years, hopefully. Michael, happy Easter to everybody. Michael, happy Easter to you too. I think if we trade AJ and get Sadiq, we will be fine. This scheme use more tight end sets. I mean, I'm not going to say you wouldn't, but I still think on the outside, I think AJ creates a lot of mismatches. Why not just keep AJ and get Sadiq? I mean, if you create all those problems with 2 tight end sets without A.J.Brown, how much do you create with A.J.Brown? You know, that would be my question. And speaking of questions, before we go any further, I'll tell you one thing I don't question, and that is Prize Picks. Check this out. Let me first start off by saying thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. The app is really easy to use. Just pick more or less on a few players, and you could build the ultimate lineup. It is legal in states like California. Now, here's what I got for my lineup today, okay? I wanted to do a little bit of a future bet, so this is what I'm doing, and I love this. All right, so I took DeVonta Smith because I think he has a big year. I took more than 5.5 touchdowns receiving this year. I think DeVonta Smith going to have a monster year. Then I also took Zach Bond to have over 2.5 sacks. I think Zach Bond will have 4 or 5 this year. I think you're going to see him get to the quarterback more. I took the over. Also, I took the over with Kenneth Walker and 7.5 rushing touchdowns. The Kansas City Chiefs signed him. They are going to use him, no doubt about it. And so head over to Prize Picks and use code HMA. And when you do, they'll hook you up. Play $5. Get $50 instantly. That's right, $50 instantly. Just use promo code HMA. Shout out to Prize Picks, and we want to thank them for the sponsoring this video. Wizard King says 500. I'm torn with Hurts. I think this offense is what he needs. But you want a quarterback that anticipates throws. I mean, look, I think Jalen Hurts can anticipate throws. Does he have weaknesses he has to work on as a quarterback? Yeah, he still's got things to work on. But to me, the big question is this. Do you want a guy who is known for anticipating all his throws, or do you want to be known for a guy who wins Super Bowls and goes to Super Bowls? Because Jalen Hurts may not be perfect, and he may not do everything right. But, man, how many other Eagle quarterbacks have gone to 2 Super Bowls? All right, how many players in this league have gone to 2 Super Bowls? You know, everybody credits Barkley with the reason they went to the 2nd Super Bowl, but they didn't have Barkley the first time. So, I mean, you know, nobody's ever going to be perfect, but the question is do you want to win? I want a guy that in the playoffs, down 4, has to go 80 yards, can do it. Now, he came up short last year. You're not going to always do it, but more than not, you're going to do it. And in the biggest games of Jalen Hurts' career, the 2 biggest games of his career, those were his best games he's ever played. That's the one thing I want from a quarterback. We're not paying Steen after this year, and his rookie contract is up. We're going to need a guard. I agree. And not only that, but how long is Landon Dickerson going to play? Landon Dickerson signed. He just redid his contract and lost a year out of it. So is he retired? Like, I've never seen that. I've never seen a guy redo his contract or his structure to get less years. I think he might retire in 2 years. I think really that may be what's going to happen. 500, you're a moron? Why? Why am I a moron, Steven? I mean, just tell me why. It's like, I'm not a mind reader. I'm a moron, remember? You have to explain, I'm a moron. So explain it before you have your little meltdown. And I'm going to leave. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. 7 years in the league and still can't anticipate throws. Yeah, but he can sure shine his MVP ring. Rams trading away their first-round pick last year could cost them the Super Bowl. They were so close. Now they have to go all in this year. I mean, what player in the first round do you think would have made such a difference to the Rams that they would have won? YMCMB, thank you for the super chat. You see the report on Jalen. I'm sick of Media 500. They have nothing good to say about us. AJ Talk stops. AJ Talk stopped now. This Patullo put this. I think it was Patullo too. I think it was Patullo too. Yeah, I saw a report. We talked a lot about it yesterday. Well, it was a joke, dude. I do think Patullo was it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Steen. And thank you for that super chat, Ryan. I don't think he's bad. I just think you can upgrade that position. Thanks, man. It's so weird to root against your. Yeah, I don't get it. Rams are going to get a good pick for a talented team. I don't know who was left on the board. That would have made such a difference for them. I don't believe that's why. Like I don't believe that's why they whatchamacallit. I don't believe the Rams didn't win a Super Bowl because they traded out of the first round. This fan base rides with whatever they see online. It's extremely sad. They get swayed by any little report and start attacking their own guys. It's actually comical and sad. He brought y'all a ring. 2 Super Bowls, man. I'm proud to say Hurts, my quarterback. I don't care what anybody says, good or bad. I'm riding with 1. Me too. I think this is a perfect proof year where he could shut a lot of people up, though. James says, Eagles offense stack. Are you sure wasn't there 2 games last season? They didn't pass for 10 yards and a half. Hurts is very, very mild. Well, how do you, think about it. Let's think about it common sense wise. How does a guy go out and go 15 to 17 in the first half or the second half of a game? The first half of a game. How can he go 15 to 17, 9 for 9 in the first half, and then not throw one yard in the second half? You think that's because he stinks? The chances are that it's more likely because of what the offense and what the coaches are doing. And that's what is called the prevent offense. They run the ball. Jalen, if the balls that we're up 24-6, don't do anything. If the window's tight, don't throw it. Throw it away. If a guy isn't extremely open, don't take any risks. Just throw it away. That is what they coach. We watched Hard Knocks, and they literally coached that. I believe that Jalen Hurts was only doing what he was being coached to do. If nothing's there easy, get rid of it. We don't care. You don't have to make the tight window throw. Just throw it away, because if we win the turnover battle game, then guess what? We're going to win this game. That's how they thought. That's how you see a guy go 15 to 17 in the first half of a game and then not throw a completion. That happened 2 or 3 times. Dallas game is another example. That's because the Eagles build up a lead, and when they build up a lead, they go into prevent offense. But what do I know? I'm just a moron. If anyone was carried by this roster, it's Sirianni. Agreed. But the one thing I like about the new coaching staff, in terms of the offensive coordinator, is I don't think we're going to see that unless Nick comes in and starts trying to pin this down and push this on these guys. These guys, you know why A.J. Brown was upset and Barkley and all those guys were frustrated? Because they're all killers. They're all stone cold killers who want to kill a team, and they're told to take it easy and go into a prevent offense. They don't want to. To me, that makes way more sense than Jalen Hurts just isn't that great of a quarterback. You know, I don't believe it. Ryan says, I'm good with Hurts. I need him to get back to running, though. He had to have it in this game. I think he should have it. I also think that they need he needs a coach that will get on him about certain things. Like, how many times does Hurts bail to his right and give a play? Early in his career, that was a big issue. We don't want you to do that. We want you to stay in the pocket. We want you to step up. And he was learning to do that. I don't think that Sirianni really cared about that the last few years, because as long as he had a lead, he didn't want Jalen he doesn't want him throwing into a tight window. Don't even try it if we're winning. Don't. That's what he's saying. Take no risks. Don't listen to these clowns. I love your passion for my dirty birds. We are going all the way this year. Also, the hate speech on quarterback one is needed for Hurts game. He's going to kill this year again. I think that's, when they come at Hurts like this is when he always plays his best. Jalen Hurts, let's ride 2.0. Yeah. I need Jalen to get quicker off. I don't think saying that there are things that he has to work on and that there are flaws in his game is a bad thing. We can say that, and I totally will agree. Yeah, he's got things to work on, but the way that some people act like he is just crazy to me. YMCMB, thank you for the super chat. Patullo files are all coming out now. He's a clown. Well, what happened? Yeah, I think Patullo was the guy that did that. I think he was. I think he was the guy that, that put out that source for that article. Chris vs. World said Patullo's an F. Yeah, he might be in the F. Somebody should look him up. Do I think they trade out? I don't think they will. I think they should, though. I think they're 4 or 5 guys, and if they're not there, I think they should. And acquire more mid-round picks, which I think is the value of this draft, and then stack up on next year top first-round picks, where's the value in that draft. YMCMB, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, also happy Friday, and God bless you and Fan 500. Hey, God bless you too, man. God bless you, and happy Good Friday to you as well. Thank you so much. MT Shark says, like I said before, if you're going to pay stupid money, you might as well go for Garrett Crosby. That's my thinking too. I mean, the money's getting so ridiculous. We talked about it at the beginning of this. Trevon Walker, a 4 years, $110 million contract, 77 guaranteed. He gets $50 million signing bonus, basically. And I like him, but and I think he's better than Jalen Phillips. And Jalen Phillips got $30 million. And Grenard wants $30 million. It's crazy. You're talking to Wizard King. Mark says, what I don't understand is that hasn't Hurts gotten better every year? He's only going to keep getting better. It makes no sense. I honestly think that, and I think this was a failure of the coaching staff. I think that the way Nick wanted to play this prevent offense, I think he started to care less about those things and the little things about the development of Jalen Hurts. And he more worried about, hey, let's get a lead and then let's sit on our lead. We watched the Hard Knocks. He kept putting the big sign up there. Teams are 41-2 when you win the turnover battle. I mean, that's what he was playing. Yeah, Patullo is a passing game coordinator in Miami. Jay Koch says, those clowns don't mind Philly. I agree 90% of your take. Thank you, my man. Look, I don't care. Somebody can call me a moron or say disagree, but I don't know what, like I talk about so many things. I have no idea what they're talking about. Just say, hey, you moron, this is why you're a moron. And then I'll go, oh, yeah, you're right. I am a moron. Damn, you're right. I'm a friggin' moron. But you're still here watching a moron. Michael, hey, Philly, Mannion's new system is going to set Hurts free. He isn't May, but his touchdowns will definitely go up. The new system will push Hurts to play great. AJ and Smitty will both have over 1,000. I think it's great, too, because I think at the very least with the new system, as long as Nick stays somewhat out of it, I think at least we'll be able to come out of this season coming up and go, all right, look, the issues were Nick Sirianni, the coach. Okay, no, the issues were Jalen Hurts. I think this system will allow us to identify that without argument. But it's crazy to me because that article said stuff that is not what we heard. Like, all I heard last year and going into last year was that Jalen Hurts pushed for the short passing game. He wanted more passing game. He wanted more under center more. He wanted more play action. Now, all of a sudden, this article comes out and the source says that Jalen Hurts wanted none of those things. To me, it sounds like somebody is upset and they're trying to pin the blame on him. Hurts will have a ton of interceptions. He might. But you know what? I think that at least we can identify the situation. If he has a ton of interceptions, then we know that's a problem. I'm just glad that we're going to be able to identify what he could start off with a lot of interceptions and then get better as the season goes. I mean, we got to give him time to kind of get adjusted to it. Also, remember under Kellen Moore, the first 4 weeks they came out throw, and they just gave up on it. They just said, we're not going to do this anymore. I don't think that's the way to go. I think Jalen Hurts should still throw 20 to 30 times a game. I don't think he needs to do more than that. But I think the short passing game needs to be implemented. I think they need to have better routes for the receivers, better scheme. I think you need a coordinator that can adjust to the defense in game a lot quicker. And I think you need to use play action more. Them two clowns had all long developing routes. The West Coast offense will be a lot quicker hits. Jalen was mostly only doing what he was told. He was. I have no doubt. I do not believe a quarterback comes out and goes 15-17 and then doesn't throw a yard in the second half. I do not believe that was because Jalen Hurts forgot how to play quarterback at halftime. I believe it was specifically told on him, do not risk anything. What up, 500? If we win the draft, we win the whole season. Go Birds. I like it, Reginald. I like it. And how are you? Sirianni needs to stay home, stay away from the playbook. We'll know within the first couple weeks if Sirianni is involved. If we start seeing the Eagles go into this prevent offense where they come out, they look good the first half, they're up 13 points at halftime, and then all of a sudden they can't complete a pass, they can't do anything, you'll know it's Nick. We'll know it's Nick. You'll be able to tell. Do you remember Super Bowl 57 when Jalen stopped Nick from giving the Kansas City sideline the middle finger? He should have told him who the problem is. I do remember that. I also remember when Jalen, and we talked about this during the year last year, when Jalen was on the sideline going, "What do you mean you're pulling me out of the game? What do you mean we're not going to put 60 on this team? Like, let's go." Jalen's a killer, man. He wants to kill a team. Same with A.J.Brown, DeVonta, Saquon. You got a bunch of killers on this team, and you're being told to not kill. It doesn't work. What up, 500? How are you? I'm doing great. How are you? I believe we will use a slot receiver much more. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Fan says, I never had interest in Travon Walker. He's just a name, and his play on the field proves he's not an elite edge rusher. I know, but did you see I think he's pretty good. But did you see the money he's getting? Like somebody said earlier, with the amount of money these guys who are not the premier guys are getting, you're better off just going for the premier guys. All my years from elementary to college, it was enforced to cite your sources, but Fowler doesn't have to. Grow some balls, name drop them. He just lost all credibility for Philly fans. Well, I think you know what happens, right? If he tells you the source, then nobody's going to believe the article, because I think the source is Kevin Patullo. I think it was Patullo. Well, the Shanahan-McVay offense has answers built in. It's quarterback-friendly, and Mannion is a good play caller. Jalen will be fine. Well, the thing is, Jalen's very excited about it. Like, if you listen to Jalen after they hired Patullo, he was like, yeah, we'll see if he's ready for it. But he sounded like extremely excited about the offense. So I'm excited about that. Rakeem says, yo, Denzel, what's going on, my man? How are you? 500 quarterbacks like Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Allen. Coaches don't tell them not to throw the ball or to throw the ball away. It doesn't happen with those quarterbacks. No. I mean, look, Nick Sirianni invented the prevent offense. And people laugh about that name, but it's true. I've never seen. I mean, look how many games last year. You almost blew the Tampa game. You were up big. You almost blew the Minnesota game. You were up big. You go up 21-0 on Dallas. You blow that game. You blow the Denver game. You're up 14 points with 8 minutes left. Like, they were up this year in a lot of games in which they just gave it away because of his philosophy. Yeah, Travon Walker, man. Look at this. $110 million contract, $77 million guaranteed, $50 million signing bonus. Like, I think Travon Walker's a good player. And I think he deserves $30 million more than Jalen Phillips does. But, man, when you're making this kind of money, what's the point? Go get Myles Garrett or Crosby. You might as well get the best of the best if you're going to pay that kind of money. Also, when Nick was boasting about beating the Bills by 1 point, AJ wanted to slap him. There's no question about it. No question about it. We got 476 people, only 199 likes. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much. Michael says, and Philly, remember our passing game guy is the best on third downs. Plus, we have 3 running backs in the league. Here come the Eagles. Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to be a lot better than people are thinking. I do. But they still got some major things that they got to fix before we can even say that. To me, it's really going to be about the offensive line. Defense is non-negotiable. It is, really. Paul, thank you for the super chat, my man. Baldy said Vega won't get past Pittsburgh. He might be right. I don't disagree. I mean, he might be gone. And if somehow I'm the Eagles and I can get up and get him, I do. And if he's gone and Sadiq is gone and, my top 4 or 5 guys are gone, I'm trading out. And thank you for that super chat. Char says, you see how they're using Hurts all-female team to attack him? No, I didn't see anything about that. what happened? They're using. He has a. I didn't know anything about that. I'll have to check it out. Army celebrates 66 months of membership. Thank you so much. Yo, what up? What do you think about all this Jalen stuff? Sorry if you covered it. Just got on. No, you're good. I think that there are certain truths that Jalen probably, there are things he likes to do and he doesn't like to do, and he's got to improve in certain areas. I think that's probably true. But this idea that he's uncoachable and that he doesn't want to run, plays, he doesn't like running motion, and he doesn't want to be under center, and he doesn't want to use play action, and he doesn't want to do all these things, I think is all bullcrap. Because everything we've heard before that was one of his issues with the offense was he wanted more of those things. So I don't really believe it, and I think the source had axe to grind. Okay, like everybody's making a big deal about, they're calling him four verts Hurts, right? And they're talking about the play. Well, he said he wanted to run four verticals, and then they run four verticals. Well, to me, the issue isn't saying, what do you prefer? He could tell you what he prefers. The issue with that whole thing that's not talked about in the article is, why does the coach allow it? Why didn't the coach step in? Why didn't the offensive coordinator step in? They're the ones calling the plays. They're the ones putting guys in position. You ask Jalen Hurts what his preference is, he'll tell you what he's comfortable with. That doesn't mean run the play. So Hurts is getting the blame for something that should be blamed and looked upon the coaching staff. So I think it's a lot of bullcrap. It gets me. I'm sorry I get pissed off. It bothers me. I don't understand how we're not talking about a coach who doesn't have the balls to say, nah, we're not going to run that. And if you look at the article, it doesn't say that Hurts calls the plays. It says that Hurts was asked his opinion on the play. Why did the coach not step in? Hurts is not the whatchamacallit. He is not the offensive coordinator. And I think it's also very convenient that they say, well, he audibles all the plays. The article tried to insinuate that Jalen calls the plays that are bad. And he changes the plays that are bad. But the plays that are good are the coach. But we know, I can think of two plays off the top of my head that were Jalen. I think the touchdown in the Rams game, where they talked about Jalen motioned over to AJ and he catches a touchdown pass. And then the wheel route that Saquon scores versus Denver, those were two audibles. As a matter of fact, I think the DeVonta Smith thing might have been, that was a whole, remember the big bomb DeVonta Smith caught versus Minnesota? Do you know he was yelling at the coaching staff the whole game? Call that play. Let me run. Let's run it. It's open. And they wouldn't listen to him. So I think the article is got shades of truth in different things that may be real. But I think it was all about the source and whoever the source is going up against Jalen. Otherwise, none of it makes sense to me. Rogue, thank you for super chat, man. He goes, hey, Philly 500, I feel like the four vertical play was called by Nick or Kevin. Does not sound like a Jalen play. Feels like a lie. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's what they said. They said, Jalen, what would you like? Like what do you think? I like four verticals. All right, let's run it. Well, I mean, really, dude, you gotta, your coach, that's what a coach is there for. Coach should have stepped in. That's the real problem, in my opinion, with that whole thing that is not even covered. Duncan Wright celebrates 24 months of membership. Thank you so much. Hurts is not 22. Give him a great O-line. That's it. What do you mean? And not receivers? Like, I don't understand. Like, you still got to give him, like, weapons, no? And thank you for your support. The Eagles versus Dallas season opener, every single score was off script. It was. Hurts agent and manager teams. Oh, it was all females. Huh? Maybe he likes looking at females instead of looking at guys all day. I don't know. Hey, look, if they do their job good, then whatever. If they're trying to somehow put that on him, like he's soft or something like that, I think it's crazy. If we have a successful year, it will revert back to Jalen is getting carried. He is not responsible for his success. It's the same cycle over and over. But if things go bad, it's all on him. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think that there's truth in the article. I think that there's things Hurts got to work on. Like I said, we always talk about him bailing to the right. I think Hurts knows that he's got to improve in certain areas of his game. That's not a stretch. But the uncoachable stuff, like, dude, we've only heard the opposite of that being true. I think that Jalen Hurts didn't like Patullo in terms of, I don't think he respected the coaching staff. In that article, it says that oftentimes Kellen Moore and Jalen would clash over things on offense. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay? There's nothing wrong with clashing. However, what the article doesn't talk more about is the fact that Jalen, they said, didn't want to use motion, and Moore would try to push it. And so they would clash over it. Yet, the Eagles ran motion, were the 11th most team running motion. So Jalen Hurts did what he was supposed to do. They clashed, and he still ran it. They were the 11th team to run it. 11th most team. So I think it's a lot of bullshit. You got to be able to have coaches to tell guys yes and no. I think in a weird way that this whole article is more of an indictment on the coach than anybody else. But everybody only sees the Jalen part of it. $500. You and I wanted Walker. Now he signed extension with the Jags. I didn't expect to sign Walker, them to sign Walker because they were paying Josh Hines. But dream is dead. It is. But it was weird because they did try to trade him at the deadline. They were taking offers anyways. They were listening to offers, and they waited till like his contract was pretty much up, instead of just giving an extension early. So it is kind of crazy. You can see on the video, all that Jalen said was, "Are you sure?" And then Nick Patullo looked at each other and said something, and Jalen went to the huddle. Yeah, I need to go. I need to go back and watch. Go on, you dog. Yes. We're supposed to believe every quarterback since McNabb has been uncoachable. Really? Yeah, I know. I really think that was. I think that was Patullo. I swear, I think that was Patullo. The Balls man couldn't be more happy with his quarterback. So this is all irrelevant. I mean, dude, I don't know. It's pretty hard for me to sit there and hate on a quarterback that's taken you to 2 Super Bowls and won one. I mean, Randall Cunningham's my favorite quarterback ever. He never took me to the Super Bowl. McNabb never won a Super Bowl. None of these guys did what he's done. I mean, Foles did, but not twice. I don't know, man. I just. If I'm winning games and I'm winning Super Bowls with a guy, then I can overlook some of the flaws. It confuses Hurts, that's why. Well, sometimes the things you don't do well, or the things that confuse you, or the things that take a while to figure out, you don't get better at it unless you do it. So maybe Hurts doesn't like to do it. Maybe that part is true. Yet with Kellen Moore, they ran it the 11th most out of any team. So how is that uncoachable? Patullo couldn't get him to do it. Hey, Philly, Mannion has to challenge Hurts, not press him. But I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. The Eagles front office is trying to Wentz Hurts and stop blaming Nick. Nick does what the front office tells him to do. Nick is a solid coach. Nick is a moron. I'm sorry. Listen, I think Nick is a okay head coach, and I think he's good with his relations with his players. But when it comes to X and O's, when it comes to in-game adjustments, when it comes to, you tell me what genius coach says we don't need the second seed. We don't care if we have the second seed or the third seed. I don't think that's very smart. So I think Nick is okay when his role is head coach, but when he starts interfering with the X's and O's and the offensive coordinator, I don't think he's that good. And if you listen to, if you're going to believe the Jalen Hurts reports, then you've got to believe the reports that the Eagles were about to fire Nick Sirianni last year, right before they won a Super Bowl, and that Nick is still on thin ice, because those were the reports we're getting. I don't know if I believe that either. Is the whole Trey Grenard? No, I don't. I think they're very real. I think Grenard, the holdup is that he wants $30 million. Sweat. All I know from Sweat is what we heard is he requested a trade from Arizona. I don't know if they'll grant it to him. All this talk is going to force Jalen Hurts to run more, and he's going to get injured. It's just a matter of time. Well, why would it force him to run more, though? Because why? He can't read the defense, and so he holds the ball longer and has to run? No, I don't think that, Yo, 500, you skipped like 3 members. I did, I'm sorry. They don't all show up on my thing. Only sometimes they show up. It's not like I'll miss some, because it just won't show. Let me go out of here. Thank you for letting me know, by the way. Bird Gang member for 8 months. Thank you, man. And appreciate that, because it's time to destroy teams. The Birds are coming. I agree, man. I agree. And thank you, Bird Gang. And shout out to Bird Gang. Everybody check out his channel. Thank you for your support, my man. Super Philly, member for 65 months. Thank you so much, man. Long time, 65 months. Thank you. What are we talking about? I just got here. We were talking about Travon Walker. We were talking about my idea of trading out of that 23rd pick. And then we're also talking about now Jalen Hurts, it looks like. 41 to 33, member for 30 months. Thank you so much for your support. 500, Jalen is the source. He's creating his own motivation while taking the heat off AJ. I still think the Browns just wanted people talking about the Browns. Myles going nowhere. Go. I like this. Thank you, my man. That's interesting. That's definitely an interesting take, because I never thought that Jalen's creating his own drama. Because why? Because he knows he plays better. I like it. Hey, whatever works, man. Whatever works. Let's see here. Let me catch up here. Charmy says, watching KP confused on that last play, like he couldn't figure out what inside zone to call 4th and 11. That ended in all three people just guessing 4 verts. Yeah, and now they're blaming Jalen Hurts for it. Like he's the offensive coordinator, the head coach calling plays. It's crazy. Mahomes always relied on his security blanket, Kelsey, but he's not the same as you see the difference. Yeah, I still think you give Mahomes weapons, though. He's gonna be right back in it. Nick and his boyfriend, I agree with you. If Mannion gets this offense clicking, they need to let Nick go and make him head coach. Could you imagine he comes in, does a great job, the offense looks great, and then he gets a head coaching job? Ugh. The most important thing the Eagles need, in my opinion, is a healthier offensive line defensive player to bring pressure off Jalen. Those are the 2 most important pieces. You hit it right on the head. They need their offensive line's got to be better, and they need an edge rusher. Those are the 2 big. And then you could say they need a safety. Like those are the 3 biggest problems. and then depth at tight end and all those things. But I agree. And the way I think you'd go about it, I still think you try to make a play for Crosby or Garrett. Okay, so I use trade to get the edge rusher. I use the draft to address the offensive line, and I use the draft to address safety. That's how I think they should play it. Hey, 500 Sill said that the Eagles organization planned a story about Jalen Hurts. Yeah, there's some people that think that. They think that the Eagles don't want to pay him and that the Eagles are setting him up. And this was like the first step in it. I mean, I don't know. How am I supposed to know that? It's crazy. And I don't believe it. I don't believe that the Eagles are more loyal to Nick Sirianni than Jalen Hurts. I don't believe that, man. I don't believe it at all. The Shaver's my man. You're my man. We may not agree on Nick, but you're my man. I believe Hurts stopped running hard because of the concussion versus Washington spooked him. Yeah, I mean, that was a nasty concussion. You might be right about that. I always laugh when people say, look at Josh Allen. He doesn't have weapons, but the Bills have drafted and brought in many wide receivers, but they just didn't hit. And Burrow has weapons. Lamar has weapons. Yeah, exactly. Nick would be the type of person in a horror movie afraid to pull the trigger on a monster and he gets mauled. Yeah. Nick's the guy. Nick's the girl running up the steps. Why are you going up the steps? They always go up the steps. Sweat. It was false. I don't doubt it. That was the last thing I heard about it. Thank you for the update, Jeremy. Look, Philly Hurts has won Super Bowl. The way he plays is like he's saying, "I got one already." What do you mean? The way he plays is like I got one. That you mean? I know what you mean. I think, but I see that's what I'm saying. Like that's what Nick wanted. Like that's the prevent offense. That's what I think. That was what the Eagles coaching staff told him to do. Who else gets annoyed at Nick when he has his feet on the desk? It drives me nuts, dude. Hey, Philly, Kevin, Heather, what's going on, Heather? Ask yourself, how is it true what you were just talking about when we had different coaches? We had bad coaches, bro. No doubt it reflects on the team. It does. I agree. How many screens? Not enough, 11. We don't run screens. And why? I don't understand it. People will tell you, well, Jalen can't run a screen. So I'm supposed to believe he could throw 70 yards down the field on a dot, but he can't throw 2 yards. It's crazy. They don't run it. They don't use the receivers out of the backfield. They don't use the middle of the field. They don't use the short passing game. I mean, there's so many things that they didn't do. If you notice and you watch the pattern of the Eagles, especially last year, watch it. They come out first quarter, first half of the first quarter, first series or maybe 2. They move the ball efficiently, 6-7 minutes on the board, maybe even score points. Then the defense adjusts, and all of a sudden, the Eagles don't do nothing until the fourth quarter because the coaches, especially Patullo, doesn't know how to adjust, and it takes them that long to figure it out. It was every week. These reports are just bulletin board material. They have the whole team go off this season. We should thank the media for all the bullshit because it's going to light a fire under a whole team's ass. Oh, I agree with that. Yo, 500, I can't wait for the draft. It's going to be barbecue some ribs. Hell yeah. I can't wait either. I get why Nick has no balls. He's in the locker room full of killers. And he's a woman of horrible. He is. That's what he reminds me of. Yo, Philly, my heart, I think lots of people are jealous of Hurts, and that's why they hate on him, because he's an Eagle, yo. They don't like the Eagles already, right? That's the first strike on them. But I think there's just so many media people that always think that they're right. We're so wrong about them, and they just can't admit it. And so they wait. He could play good, win a Super Bowl, and then they just wait. And then as soon as something comes, boy, they go after him. Giants aren't trading. Yeah, I don't know what the Giants are doing with him. Yo, 500, I think Nick is part of the problem. You see his BS in the documentary on TV. His words are hot air. I agree. The Eagles' new America's team. No news. Let's make up BS, right? But the Saquon trade might have ended the pipeline. Are you talking about the Giants pipeline? Troy says, hey, Philly, do you think that the Birds' new stadium will be in South Philly or a current stadium? I would think it's going to be in South Philly, but it's not guaranteed. I mean, it's a long way off. But I mean, when the owner says, well, I don't care, I'm open to wherever, basically, what's better for the fans, I think he still probably wants it in that area. How can all these media people say Jalen Hurts is uncoachable when he had a different coach every year and has been through all the way back to college and he's made the playoffs every year? Yeah. And how come that it was always the opposite? Like, go listen to what they say about him coming out of college. Listen to the first couple of years. And all of a sudden he's uncoachable. I don't think he was uncoachable. If anything, he didn't like, what if it was simply that he knew the coordinator was wrong? Like, he knew. It's like you're taking a driving test and it's a red light and the driving instructor is saying, go through the light, go. And you're going, but it's a red light. Just go. You're okay, go. But it's a red light. And it's a red light. It's against the law. That cop across the street's going to give you a ticket. But he's telling you anyways. What if it was as simple as he knew Patullo didn't know what he was talking about? I swear, I hope the source comes out, because I'm telling you, I think it's going to be Patullo. Oh, I did. Rogue, my bad, Rogue. I apologize. Rogue, thank you for the super chat. I apologize, I missed it. So, Philly, most likely Nick called 4 verticals. He's a control freak, which is why our offense suffers. He probably had Kevin lie in the report. Well, I mean, the report says that they asked Jalen his opinion. But Nick, yeah, I mean, you could say Nick or Kevin let it go. Why didn't they say, no, we're not going to do that. Let's do this instead. So I think that a report, when you really look at it, it's more an indictment on the coach. But they won't tell you that. Dr. Doom says, I honestly think the coach has been putting handcuffs on Jalen. I do too. And I really believe that. And that's why I'm excited about Mannion, The Eagles are going to draft the safety for King. Hey, I'm okay with that. I like that kid. What does Nick do? I think Nick manages personalities well. Like, I think that he talks to the guys, he hears them out. He doesn't always listen to them when it comes to X and O's, but I think he's good at managing personalities. And that's a good thing for a head coach. He just needs to stay out of the X and O's. 500, would you accept the trade calls for Hurts? I would accept trade calls for everybody. I'm a big believer that you listen to all offers for anybody. Would you accept 3 1s? No. And here's why. Because I don't have another quarterback that has taken me to Super Bowls besides Foles. I think, like Tricks, I honestly believe this. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. And if I'm proven wrong, I'll admit it. I truly believe when Jalen Hurts' career is over, he's going to have another 2 championships at minimum. I truly believe that. I truly, truly believe that. So I don't want to trade him for that because I really believe that. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. But I believe that's going to happen. Did you hear the report saying the only way Jalen listens to the team is if the article's about him? No. Is that true? Yo, 500, I'm glad we got Mannion. Nick and Kevin were trash play calling. I agree. If Nick took a driving test, he'll be wearing those DAC gloves. Oh, my God, he would. He would. Yo, Philly Kevin, Heather, cry wolf, the whole league cry wolf. Remember, our new coach was not trained by Nick. We won a Super Bowl because Kellen Moore. He was not Nick disciple. I know. It's true. 500. What's up with Sills signing a market? Oh, it's every week, dude. Every week. Yeah, every week. Yes, they look at Dallas as, a cup half full. They look at the Eagles as a cup half empty. No, I think Sills plays the game. I think he knows that he doesn't care. He wants to get a reaction out of you. He don't care if it's good or bad. Sills is smart like that. He knows. New England 500. What record would the Eagles have to have by week 6 for you to say, yeah, Hurts is a coaching problem? I don't think week 6 is long enough. I'll say week 10. But if we get into December, I'd say November, December. Like late November, early December. So I think week 6 is a little bit probably early. I say week 10. How about week 10? I think by week 10, it's a problem. You'll know. We're going to know. We are going to know who's the problem. Because if you see the same things happening on offense that look eerily the same in terms of Hurts doesn't complete a pass in the second half of a game after he just was 15 of 15 with 3 touchdown passes, you're going to know it's Nick. If Jalen's got 13 interceptions and 7 touchdown passes, you're going to know it's Jalen. Sounds like Sirianni would dump Hurts tomorrow if he could. He wants a quarterback that isn't one-dimensional. Perhaps he would, possibly. But I don't think Jalen Hurts is one-dimensional. I don't think you win a Super Bowl if you're one-dimensional, man. I don't think you go to 2 Super Bowls if you're one-dimensional. What's the bigger need? Safety, edge rusher, wide receiver, or tight end? Not sure what the 23 pick should be. In my opinion, the biggest need doesn't necessarily correlate with what you should pick at 23. So I think the biggest need for the Eagles, one position right now, is the edge rusher. But I don't necessarily think that you're going to get what you need at edge rusher drafting a guy in the first round. So I think in the first round, the guy you want to get is an offensive lineman in the first round. And I think you want to use and try to get an edge rusher through a trade. I think trying to get Max Crosby or Garrett, I think that's still the way to go. Last 4 years has been Super Bowl wildcard, Super Bowl wildcard. Here's to hoping pattern continues. Yeah, think about it. It was Super Bowl, then 10-1 start, epic collapse, right? Epic collapse. Then it was win the Super Bowl, and then it was minor collapse. Remember, people forget this, but do you realize that the Eagles last year, for the first 9-10 weeks of the season, were the number 1 seed? The Eagles were the number 1 seed for most of the year. Okay, they collapsed. They started to blow it. So, yeah, hopefully it continues. Agreed. New England 500, not the collapse, but hopefully we're on a Super Bowl year. Hard to see the Eagles move on from Jalen, even if he truly is a problem because of the money. But Dolphins moved on from Tua, so anything is possible. How do you move on a guy that's taking you to 2 Super Bowls? See, this is what I don't get. What are we playing for? Are we playing to win championships and Super Bowls, or are we playing to put up stats so that Sills can tell you how good a guy is? He's got this many touchdown passes. Or are we playing for Super Bowls? If we're playing for Super Bowls, then give me the guy that's gone to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years. That's how I look at it. Edge or guard? Biggest need, edge. I think edge is still a bigger need than guard. But I think that it needs to be... I still think you need to draft a guard over an edge. And the reason I say that is because I think you legit need a veteran edge rusher. You know, Sills hurt your feelings when you bring up his career. When I bring up whose career? I never brought up his career. I don't bring up his career. Listen, I was a fan of Cilio's career. I'm a Miami fan. I remember watching Jerome and him. But I've never brought up Cilio's career. They're not banning the false start push. Been regulating it with penalties. No, they're not banning it because they don't think the Eagles are a threat at it anymore. Would you rather go safety, offensive line, or Sadiq in the first? If we go safety or offensive line in the first, second round, we could still get max, maybe third. Does it go? It would depend, right? I mean, it just depends on it depends on who the player is. Like, I would rather have Vega over Sadiq, but I probably would go Sadiq over the safety from Oregon. You know, and part of it is because I think there are good safeties out there. Hurts' heart is in the money by making business decisions. How do I prove that? How do we prove that one? I can't judge what it's in a man's heart. I can't. Love and Life in Alaska. Do you think we resign Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and Tyler Steen? I think only Jalen Carter is really worth top dollar. No, I think you got to sign Jalen Carter. I think Nolan Smith, I think he's got to prove himself, you know? Oh, not you, fella. Okay, got you. My bad. People don't see it like that, Philly. The stats are personal achievement, but winning Super Bowls is what makes legends. I agree, you know, and growing up, that's what was always what we cared about. It was always about Super Bowls. That has your guy won Super Bowls? Does he take your team to Super Bowl? Now it's like, now you go to Super Bowl, they act like, oh, well, yeah, he had a good team around him. But it's funny because if you still look at all the teams that have gone to the Super Bowl in the last, 5 to 10 years, it's always the same teams, right? The Chiefs have been to multiple Super Bowls. The Eagles have been multiple Super Bowls. The Rams have been, I think to a couple Super Bowls. The Patriots have been a couple Super Bowls. But it's like always the same team. And then, so it's like 4 or 5 teams go to multiple Super Bowls. And then all the other teams go nowhere, you know? So I don't know. Please don't get Garrett. What don't you like? Is it a personal thing? 500. Why do you think the Eagles haven't tried getting Brendan Aubrey? You finally get a great kicker, take away Dallas. Because I don't think the Eagles, one, they're paying Jake Elliott, and he took a restructure. And the other is, I don't think the Eagles want to give a second-round pick. You have to give Dallas a second-round pick. Nobody's going to give, unless you're the Raiders, you're not going to get a second-round pick. If no one's on the team this year and he doesn't do much again, then he's got to go. I'd be cool with trading him now, but I feel like it would have happened by now. I agree. I think that Nolan Smith should be trade bait. Like if you want to try to get, like if you get Max Crosby or if you get Myles, just for argument's sake, I think you try to include Nolan Smith in that deal because Nolan Smith, you know, I think Nolan Smith is where Jordan Davis is last year. He's like showed flashes that he's got some talent and stuff like that, but he hasn't been consistent. Jordan Davis came out and proved it. Now I think Nolan Smith has to. I think you pick up Nolan's contract, you pick up that option year, but I do think you possibly trade him if you could get like a premier edge rusher. Because if you get Max Crosby or if you got Garrett, you don't need Nolan Smith. I think we need to take a serious look at kickers. Oh, I agree, Dr. Doom. To be honest, would choose. I would maybe go. If I could choose by position, I would choose offensive line in the first round. So if I could choose how to do things, I would say veteran edge rusher in free agency through a trade, and then offensive line in the first round. And then I would come back maybe like one of my third round picks and take another edge rusher, or maybe even a second. That Sutton kid may be somebody, But anybody you get at edge, he's got to develop. Leon Banks, what's going on, buddy? 500. Honestly, who do you think was the anonymous source of the article? Kevin Patullo. I think it was Patullo. I think Kevin Patullo was it. Yeah. Philly, how good was McNabb with the stats, but only one Super Bowl trip in almost 10 years? So are we shitting? So how are we shitting on a quarterback who has 2 Super Bowls in 3 years? I mean, I know. And I think it's like the new mindset, today. It's like, oh yeah, 35, 40 touchdown passes in a year is more important than a Super Bowl. It's not, I don't care that Jalen Hurts throws 25 touchdowns in a season. I don't care about that. Yeah, he has passing deficiencies, but if he's taking you to a Super Bowl and you're winning one and you come one drive to winning another twice, no other quarterbacks are doing that in this league. How many active quarterbacks right now? How many active quarterbacks have been to multiple Super Bowls? Seriously. How many have gone to multiple Super Bowls? Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and who else? Who else has been to multiple Super Bowls? Like, I'm trying to think. Who, and I'm not talking about as a backup, like, who has started in multiple Super Bowls that play currently in the NFL? That's a very hard thing to do. Brian Pumper, what's going on, my man? Pumper, what's happening? It's pretty hilarious to watch Jalenites grasping for straws. Their king has been exposed, humiliated, and befuddled. The good guys win. Come on. Come on with that. Come on, you know that's not true. What's up with your boy, the legendary Tanner McKee, man? Are we going to trade him? And thank you for the super chat. Hey, Leon Banks, what do you think? Who do you think? Who do you think was the leaker? Well, it's definitely not Dak. Yeah, I mean, what current starting quarterbacks or what current quarterbacks in the league have started 2 Super Bowls? I can only think of 2, right? Aaron Rodgers has only been to 1. I don't know how, but he's only been 1. Talk about underachiever. Who else? Who am I missing? Stafford went to 1 Super Bowl, right? The Rams went to a Super Bowl with Goff, and they went to a Super Bowl with Stafford. Joe Montana, yeah. Russell Wilson's been to 2, but it didn't. Is Russell Wilson retired? I thought he retired. If Russell Wilson's still active, then he would be 1, right? Purdy's been to 1. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a very hard thing to do. So, if you got a guy that's capable of taking you to a Super Bowl, I think that's got to mean, to me, that means more. Chad says, I'll check out 7-round mock draft by Yard Barker. Best case for us, I think, would be happy with that. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I thought Russell retired, but he's a free agent. Okay. All Hurts did, but that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And that could be your excuse for the first round, right? The second Super Bowl, you can try to make that argument, I guess. You can't make that for the first argument. And in the game specifically, he didn't hand the ball off. He didn't hand the ball off a lot. Say what you want about Jalen Hurts. You can talk about, well, he doesn't throw with anticipation. He doesn't throw over the middle. He bails over. Like, you could say all those things. But you can't say that the guy doesn't come up in big games, that he isn't a gamer. You just can't say that. Modern day sports talk is 80% gossip. The whole season just increased. It's true. It's so true. Pound the good guys. Hell yeah, Tricks. Hell yeah. Joe Montana McKee. I like that. I don't know. I haven't seen him yet, Big Sarge. Hey, Philly, Kevin Heather, you can have the report. We'll take the Super Bowl, right? Glad our wide receivers aren't holding out. What's going on with Dallas and Pickett? Oh, what's going on with Pickens? You mean what's going on? I don't know what's going on with Nakua. I guess he's in rehab or something. And then Dallas has franchised their receiver. Once again, Dallas cannot sign a guy to an extension. They always have problems when it comes to that. And then Eagles, it looks like A.J.Brown might actually stay, which is a great thing. Every team that goes to the playoff has weapons around their quarterback. You guys just try to use it against Jalen Hurts. They all have weapons. And the way the league is going now, teams are looking for multiple wide receivers that are really good. Most teams are looking for 2-1s now, and I think you're going to see the shift in the defensive line as well. I think you're going to see less teams worry about that premier edge rusher because there just aren't that many and they're overpaid, and they're going to really concentrate that money on the interior of the defensive line. And Howie's already doing that, Leon Banks, a member for 28 months, man. Thank you so much, man. 28 months, grateful to be your friend. Yeah, I'm grateful to have you, man. Much respect. Are you ready for the draft yet? What's your prediction? I'm about 70% ready. My prediction is the Eagles are going to trade up for Vega. That's my prediction right now today. It's not locked in though. I reserve the right to change it. The week before the draft, I will lock it in with no movement. Can't wait until Hurts wins another Super Bowl. I'm going to talk so much shit. I know. Oh, they better hope he doesn't. Pumper better hope he doesn't win another Super Bowl. He better hope. 500, in my opinion, not all quarterbacks have the juice to perform in Super Bowls. They get cold feet. Hurts is stone cold. People can't see that. I agree. Like I've had this argument on Cilio's show with Mark 1,000 times. If you put Dak Prescott with the Eagles in 2024, Dak goes and wins the Super Bowl. It's not the case. Quarterbacks, in pressure situations, sometimes they get tight, they get nervous, they screw up. Just because you're good in a regular season doesn't mean you're good in those big moments. And that's the thing with Dak. Dak hasn't showed us he can play in those moments. Where Jalen, that's where he shines. And if you're going to say, where's Jalen's strength, it's that. It didn't happen last year in that 49ers game, unfortunately, but he's proven his point. Apparently, it's Philadelphia Hurts, right? Well, that's fair. That's fair. It's a team game. I get your point. It's a team game, and you got to build a team around the quarterback. You do. But there's a lot of good quarterbacks that had a lot of good teams that don't perform well in the playoffs. If Dak said 4 verts, Mark Holmes would proclaim Dak to be a genius. It's true. Dak goes nowhere even when their roster, the guy shrinks in the biggest moments. Yeah, exactly. Philly, if Sadiq and Lone are available at 23, who are you taking? Vega. I take Vega. I like Sadiq, but I just think Vega, I think you got to take him, man. I just think he's that good. So what about you? Who would you take, Keith? Who would you take? Brian, thank you for the super chat, Pumper. Oh my God, you changed. I just noticed Brian 4 verts Pumper. Oh my God. Wrong 500. Classic case of a guy showing up on presentation day to take all the credit. He didn't do the legwork, sir. No, he's scams. How could you say he didn't do the legwork? Look, Did he play? I'm sorry. Did he only play 5 regular season games? Oh wait, he only played 3 regular season games, right? Oh no. He missed the regular season. Came back for the playoffs. What do you mean he didn't do the work? He played in all those games during the regular season. He built that record up. He was the quarterback that got them home field advantage. Yeah, come on. You're stretching, man. You're stretching. If you said Foles didn't do it, I would say, yeah, I can see your point. But Jalen Hurts played in those games. And thank you for the super chat. Loans hand, yeah. Having these other teams' fans wearing skirts, I mean the men, the way they were trying to get back to get us to look at the game now, that's incredible. Everyone wanted to play for Dallas, I thought. Yeah, right? And Jalen threw some almost touchdown pass and receivers dropped the 49ers. That's true. It's true. You take Sadiq. I like him a lot. If you ask me, Sadiq would probably be my 2. And I actually got, me and Joey are going to talk about this on the Shakedown, which will be Monday, by the way, because Sunday's Easter. But I think we might be sleeping on Sadiq a little bit. And I'm going to talk about this because, I feel like I think people are starting to, like this time of year, you get into a lot of overanalyzation where it's like, it's like paralysis by overanalysis. It's kind of where we are. I think you got to look at Sadiq and look at that talent and say, yeah, you get a chance of getting pulled trigger. If Sadiq is there at 23 and Vega's gone, I'm taking Sadiq, no question. So I respect it. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong. Rocky Davis super chat. Cam Newton hating on Jalen again. Yeah, well, we know we know why. He got embarrassed, and that was it. Yeah, I would take the offensive lineman. Agreed. It's Tanner time. Tanner for who though? That's the question. He is just there. He's just a guy. Look, I don't think you can be just a guy and go to 2 Super Bowls. I don't. I don't think you can start in 2 Super Bowls and just be a guy. I don't. I was watching a draft analysis talking about Vega. Vega gave up one hurry in passing situations past year. Dude sounds like he can't miss type prospect. Yeah, I think people are over analyzing him and they're beating him to death on all the little nitpicking things. And sometimes you just need to look at the talent and just pull the trigger. And I will with him. Oh, we need a safety after. Oh, I agree with you. I agree. And hopefully they get one of them. 500. If Jalen Hurts won a second Super Bowl, Pumper would say Jalen can't win 3. That's what we're dealing with, right? So now you go to rehab because a couple of drinks, party, and become a organizer. In the 1900s, 1992, without a Brazilian national team needed to go to rehab, even though they were winning. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what happened. Puka went to rehab. He probably went to rehab because he said all those stupid comments, and to rebuild his image, then they'll try to lay the blame on the alcohol. So, they do that. They say somebody says something stupid, does stupid things. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't me. I was on drugs or I was drinking. And then they go to rehab and they try to rebuild their credibility and use that as an excuse instead of just being responsible for it. Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees never made 2 Super Bowls. I know, is that crazy? It's hard for me to believe that Aaron Rodgers, to me, I look at Aaron Rodgers, I think, man, that guy should have won 3 Super Bowls at minimum. It's crazy to me that he only won 1. Another ring and we could talk. Fair enough. Blame on alcohol. Yep. I think that's fair. If that's what Jalen's got. And I said this after that first Super Bowl. The next one's really important for him because the next one shuts everybody up. He gets 2, nobody can say nothing. And he was really 1 drive from 2, but he's got to get 2. Jalen's got to get 2. because Jalen is never going to get the benefit of the doubt. Lone will not draft past the Chargers. We have to. I agree. Yeah, you got to trade up, and I think they will. I think the Eagles would trade up for him. You know, my biggest fear is that if they get rid of A.J.Brown, they take a receiver in the first. I do not want a receiver in the first round. Same people saying Hurts needs 2 rings, probably glazed players like Lamar was there. Oh, of course, yeah. When AJ leaves, it's going to be real bad for Hurts. I don't think so. They're going to have to replace. They're going to have to replace AJ, but he ain't going anywhere this year. Cruising, he's staying, bud. You got to transform after first. You do. I agree with you. You're spot on. And that's the challenge for him right now. And I'm hoping with Mannion we'll see that. Amazing. Rodgers only went to one. Consider how weak the NFC North was. It really is, dude. That's a guy. I'm sorry. When you look at how talented Aaron Rodgers is, I mean, dude should have 3 Super Bowls. Even if he gets 2, the haters will still be. Yeah, the haters will still be there, but nobody will listen to him anymore. Now he got the 2. We got a return on investment from a second-round pick. Oh, I agree with you. So when are you starting draft analysis? I'm seeing some ridiculous mock drafts. Well, after this week. So we got this weekend's Easter weekend, right? So I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to take off for Easter. And then starting on Monday, we'll have Philly Shakedown. And I'll start to be putting out draft videos. You'll start seeing, like, a lot of days you'll see, like, a live stream and a draft video or 2 videos a day. So starting Monday, essentially. I always do 1 mock draft. I don't do a bunch of them. I do the week before the draft, I do 1. Because I just think it's like, it's too far out. Things change too much. But we'll talk a lot about the draft. And then on my channel memberships, I'll be doing a lot of Philly reacts to players. So those that have seen the Philly reacts, that'll be back for channel members starting next week. Philly, agree. Once Hurts wins the second Super Bowl, it will shut haters up. I agree. No matter who the offensive coordinator is, the offense struggles throwing the ball, except 1 year career. So it's Hurts. So it's either Hurts, the coach, or the quarterback. Well, I agree with this. I think it's either Hurts or the quarterback. I mean, Hurts or the coach. I agree. And if Nick stays out of the offense and lets the offensive coordinator do his thing, by the end of the year, we'll know exactly who it is. That's the one great thing about this year. We're going to know, hopefully after this year, who's the problem. And I don't believe it's going to be Jalen. But we'll see. Because, I mean, you look and you go back to some of those games and they show the route trees on some of these games with, it's bad. And here's the other thing. You had different offensive coordinators, okay? But you had Nick Sirianni was always there. And Nick has been interfering with the offense from the beginning. He interferes with it. He goes in and he tries to mesh what they want to do with what he wants, that prevent offense. And if he just stays out of it, we'll be fine. I'll never forget how Philly Fiver reacted to Hurts picked in the draft. Yeah, do you remember it accurately, though? That's the question. Nobody seems to remember it accurately. But, yeah, it was a crazy moment. The Cruise with David Super Chat. You guys are going pass rusher in the first round. I hope not. God, I hope not. Cruising. That scares me. The Eagles have struggled with pass rusher and they've struggled with receiver, except for DeVonta Smith. I think that if they draft pass rusher, they're drafting need. I think that's a bad thing. I'm hoping that we'll make a move for a veteran pass rusher before then. So you doing all-day stream? Yeah, we'll be doing all-day stream. All 3 days. Jedi Master, what's going on? Not much. You didn't miss much. There's predetermined scripted spectacles. The way the referees have been the last few years, I'm starting to come over to that side. I'm just going to be honest. We're going first in the division again, no matter what your bum-ass team do. Dallas, New York, Washington are all ass. Agreed. Cruz with David Super Chat, my man. Hurts' new name is Forvert Hurts, right? That's what they're calling him. Totally ridiculous, though. Totally ridiculous. Well, the Eagles blow. Yeah, although I think hopefully Makuba was good, you know. Tribe Called Quest, what's going on? Shout out to you, man. Salute Philly 500 for the Birds section. Yeah, shout out to the Birds section. Shout out to Leo. Always praying for us all. Let's go, Birds, no matter what. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We're definitely going to be last. We'll see. We struggled with safeties and O-line in the first round. Well, we haven't drafted safeties in the first round. We've never drafted a safety in the first round. Offensive line, the last offensive lineman they took in the first round is exactly what I mean, right? It was an area of need, and the Eagles, they tried to fill a need in the first round, and they took what's his face, Andre Dillard. Totally bad draft. Once they started going and saying we're going to just take the best player available, they started hitting on their picks. What's up, Jason A-Team? How are you? I haven't really watched that or the tournament. I haven't been watching, to be honest. Yo, Tribe, I kick it. Tribe Called Quest is awesome. I love that group. Start, bench, or cut. Okay. Bobby Hoying, Ty Detmer, Rodney Peete. Oh my God. You probably got to start Rodney Peete because he's had the most success. You've got to probably bench Ty Detmer because he's probably played more games than Bobby Hoying. And you got to cut Bobby Hoying. I hate to say it. As a Giant fans, I'm believing shit until we start winning games. My opinion on your Giants are this. I think that you're going to see a lot better quality football this year. I don't know how many wins that will translate into, but I think you guys will definitely like play better quality football. And you'll be on the right track. I just don't know how, how many wins that actually translates into. I think that is yet to be determined. But let me thank everybody for joining me. We've been almost 2 hours. I am going to get out of here, though. It's almost 7 o'clock where you guys are at. It's 4 where I'm at. And my kids are going to be home soon and stuff, and I want to see them. So I'm done for the day, for the weekend. But I'll be back tomorrow, probably around 1 Eastern for a live stream tomorrow. And then Sunday I'll take off for Easter. And then Monday we get back into videos as well. So look for all those things. But I want to thank everybody for joining me. I appreciate it. Oh, Tribe Called Quest, thank you so much for the super sticker, man. It's very generous of you. Hippo character flips around and does a V sign with his hands while the word victory. Victory, thank you, my man. Shout out to Tribe Called Quest. Shout out to the Bird section. I want to go back on the Bird section when you guys are all on there, man. I have fun with that. Maybe if you guys are on this weekend, I'll jump on. Made you a mod also. So thank you so much. But I hope everybody has a good holiday weekend. Great Good Friday. Happy Easter. You'll see me tomorrow. And then Monday, we're back to the live streams and videos. I didn't do that many videos this week, just live streams. But we'll get back to it because the draft's going to heat up. But I want to get out of here. I hope you guys have a great, great day. God bless everybody. And, the Jalen Hurts stuff, all this crazy stuff continues. We'll see what tomorrow brings. With that, we out of here. Peace.
Come on, guys.
2 minutes to go. You got plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off, it's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott. Trying to feed the Lamb. Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You tried to give it to CeeDee Lamb. God. It's over. It's over, Dak. Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.
Fuck.